Hello survivors, hi family and friends, this is Roy from Bootsy Sweetheart's Guide to Life and Other Disappointing Experiences, asking you, what does this t-shirt and this handbag have in common? Fringe! Fringe is back, maybe has never left. If you remember, in a previous video I made a grunge handbag and I added fringe to it. In this video I'll show you how I took a thrift store t-shirt and made elegant fringe for the bottom of my handbag. Please stay with me, see how this works. So every project starts with an inspiration, and the inspiration for fringe in this project was one of my little day bags that I make. I love making them. They're fun. You can use a lot of fun fabric. They're very, very useful. I have a travel one that I've made here, and it holds my passport, my cell phone, my boarding passes, a little bit of extra change, and any kind of thing that I might need to grab a hold of in a hurry so I don't have to search for it. It also hides it nicely under my shirt for security. So I found this camouflage material, it's heavy canvas. It's perfect for this kind of a project. And this one is going to have a one open pocket in the front, a main pocket the size of the fabric rectangle, and a second pocket on the other side with a zipper. And for this one I'm going to leave the top edge of the zipper exposed just for interest. And it looked kind of plain, so I said to myself, how about some fringe? That would make it look a little more interesting. And having made the grunge handbag, the fringe is so easy to make. I got an old t-shirt and I chopped off the bottom very, very carefully because you want clean edges. Chopped off the bottom and squared it all up. It's important to keep it very square. Here I'm folding it in half because it's just easier to cut that way. And I'm going to cut off one or two strips at the bottom. I'm a pinner, so everything that needs a pin gets a pin. These pins I like because they have the flat head, and it makes it easier to use a quilting ruler or cutting ruler to cut the fabric. So here I think it's about 5 inches, give or take. Excuse the glare from the light, overhead light. So I figured I'd make 2 of these strips, and you get quite a bit of material out of a t-shirt for fringes. It cuts very easy. It doesn't fray because it's a double knit kind of t-shirt fabric, and it's very useful. You know, it's not elegant. It's not something that you would put on a an evening bag or anything, but it has its uses. And you can either dye a white t-shirt, or I have so many older t-shirts now that are beautiful colors. I have one bright pink one that I won somewhere. So anyway, I have this big strip. If you have side seams, you got to cut the side seams. This one was woven in one piece, so in order to get a single strip out of it, I have to cut it in pieces. Now it's not very accurate. I don't have to be. I'm going to just square it up. All I need to do is compare it to the piece of fabric that I'm going to attach it to, and make sure it's a little bit larger to allow for that measure twice, cut once mistake that I tend to make. So here it's a little bit larger. I'm going to just chop off a piece and that will become one of the pocket fringes. I'm going to mark an area for the top band that's going to be sewn directly onto the handbag. And for a piece like this, I normally would just use a pair of scissors. I'm being very careful not to cut on any kind of an angle, to make sure that it's square, that I'm cutting perpendicular. The easiest way really is a rotary cutter, but caution to keep it square and to watch where you stop. It's very easy to cut too much with a rotary cutter. Actually, I have a small, I think it's what they call 18 millimeter one. That probably would have been a better choice in general, but I'm getting pretty good at this, so I throw caution to the wind and just chop, chop, chop. But here again, if you'll notice, I'm trying to keep it square. You don't want to go off on an angle, at least that's too severe. And there's some fringe. Now the fun part is curling it up and pulling it to give it some character and personality. So here I've folded the band over. That's what it's going to be. That's the part that's going to be sewn to it. Now all I do is tug very gently. Don't over pull it, because you could pull the fringe off. It's not a lot of meat to the fringe piece, so you want to be careful you don't pull it. It'll age well without doing this, but this just speeds up the process. And if you don't like the way that looks and you want to double it up, you can put two pieces on top of each other, and it gets very full. Too full for this project. It hid the fabric. Another way you can do this is using double stick tape. If you are a little bit nervous about it moving around, or you have some mobility issues with arthritis, you can use double stick tape. And for this piece, I'm actually going to get two pieces of fringe shorter than the piece previous, so I can make my job easier, a little less work. Plus it's also, I can control that they're identical. So all I do is tape it down. Again, I'm going to mark where I need my band to be, where it's going to be sewn on to the little pouch. Now I'm going from line to line. I am not cutting to the edge. I'm going from the 1 inch mark to the 1 inch mark on each side. And here again, it's very easy to overcut, especially now that I'm beginning in the middle of the fabric and not at an edge. See how that has to look. Again, I'm trying my best to square up my ruler to the grid, to the cutting mat grid. And you just continue along, cutting each strip. They're 1/4 of an inch, maybe. I'm eyeballing it. Again, no science to this. You just use your eye, because when you pull them, it curls up anyway. Now what I'm going to do here is just cut the strip in half in the middle, like so, and I end up with two pieces of shorter fringe. And I have the two small pockets, so this was good to do it this way. I thought, and then of course you just pull this one at a time, one at a time. Nice. This is perfect. Because it's a small pocket, you don't want too long of a fringe. Now I want to make a long fringe for this one side, possibly. So another method is to take some low tack tape, tape it to the cutting mat. Here the tape is marking where the cutting should begin and end, and it also protecting my band, the fabric for the band that I'm going to sew. Here again, square it up. Make sure it's nice and square. Try to be consistent so you have approximately 1/4 inch. But again, if you are off a little bit here and there, it really doesn't affect it too much. If you cut it too thin and then you try to pull them so they curl, it's very easy to pull one of the pieces of fringe off. It's kind of fragile if you cut too thin. So you just continue along like that. On this piece, the header I'm keeping, the top part I'm keeping. You can see I've gone over a little bit into the blue tape. Try to avoid that if you can. The bottom tape, the top edge of the bottom tape is going to be the place that marks where I'm cutting the fringe. See, there. And now what happens is I have a longer piece of fringe. Very easy, a lot of fun. It's one of those activities that you can just do and takes you away from the day worrying about all the crises going on in the world. So this is how we make fringe, and then I sew it onto the top of the bag. This one is the pocket without the zipper, so it goes right to the top. The other pieces will go right below the zipper. Very simple. It behaves very well. Again, keep things square and keep your fringe pieces away from the needle. You don't want to sew up a piece of the fringe. And there we have it. Fringe. And now we'll see what the finished product looks like. Well, I really like the way this is turning out. I created my own seam binding to seal up the edges so that there wasn't a lot of bulk on the corner. If I folded it over like a French seam on a normal seam, it would be very, very thick. I love the way the fringe comes out. I don't know whether you can see, but this is the zipper tape. I didn't hide the zipper tape. I kind of like that look for an informal thing. I have to yet put on zipper pulls. I'll put some kind of beads on. I have D-rings at the top, and that will have a strap that you can put around your neck, and a shoulder, cross-shoulder pouch. It's nice. These, oftentimes I fold mine in half, and I can actually, I thought I turned the focus off. I can actually put it into my pants pocket, although if you're traveling, it's not the best idea. And the top has a top zipper, which will get a zipper pull. And I have a nice travel bag, even though my teddy bear bag is the go-to. And I have lined it with a nice fabric. So I hope you enjoyed our little excursion into fringe land. Fringe never goes out of style, whether it's the 1920s or the 2020s. It doesn't matter. Fringe will always be in. And we'll have some more projects like this. I just have a lot of fun making these kinds of small handbags and totes and smaller projects. By the way, this does work well on covers of journals and books, little decorations on grunge jeans. They make great embellishments on other projects. So if you need a hurry up fringe, now you can go to t-shirt fringe. Thank you so much for sticking with this video and getting to the end, I hope. If you like this kind of thing, please subscribe. Please, as much important is to share with someone who you think might appreciate my way of looking at things. And until the next time, stay healthy, stay smart, stay well, and bye for now.